Raise your hand if you're full. Who's full? Who's full of food? Raise your hand. Who's full of alcohol? No one? Did anyone have some drinks?
I'm a warrior!
Nice. All right. It looks like half of the room is still enjoying some of their lunch. Phil, did you have a good lunch? We missed you. Yeah. We thought, because we just did. You always fill the room with so much energy and fun. Good conversation always with Phil. Yeah, see, Michelle got to. Oh, God. Let's just throw them so that way they have a reason to throw it in the trash. Here, we'll give Phil this mic so we can hear what he had to say.
I think that at this time in our relationship,
Yeah.
it would be great to know how to pronounce your last name.
Lenigan.
Lenigan?
Yes.
Not Lenahan? Not Len Egan?
So however you want to pronounce it, I'm happy with it. As long as I have it. Is that fair?
Well said.
Look.
How are we looking in the back? Good? All right, our next speaker today is Gordon Burdecki. How many people know Gordon? Raise your hand. All right. Well, please help me welcome up Gordon Burdecki. Round of applause.
I'm a warrior! How do you unleash the ultimate you? What's holding you back mentally? What's stopping you emotionally? Who's preventing you from succeeding? Is it you? I challenge you to draw a line. Draw a line in the sand. Take massive action and go on this journey with me. I want you to go on this journey and unleash the ultimate you. What is holding you back mentally? What is stopping you emotionally? Who is preventing you from succeeding? Is it you? I challenge you today to draw a line in the sand with me. Take massive action. Go on this journey, down this journey, and we unleash the ultimate you together. I am Gordon Burdecki.
Who's ready to be inspired today? Who's ready to have some fun today? All right, I want you guys to get up for me. Get up right now. Because everything that we do in life is energy. And what we're doing right now, we're going to bring up this energy. Right after lunch, you guys probably feel a little stuffed, a little tired right now. So what I want you to do is we're going to jog in place, and then we're going to bring it up. We're going to bring it up from a deep down below. So we're going to go, ready? So jogging in place. See, guys, we are all energy. I'm going to borrow a trick from a friend. You guys know what this is? Anybody know what this is? This is what they call an energy rod, an energy stick. And what I'm going to do today is going to prove to you that you guys are all energy. So I want you, everybody here in this audience, to hold hands right now with me and further forward. Not you yet. Andrew, come over here. You're going to hold hands with him. Everybody. Everybody has to touch, though. If everybody isn't doing this, it will not work. This is how we're all... Everybody have it? Everybody's touching? You have to touch them too. Everybody's got to touch. Everybody's got to hold hands. You got to hold hands with him. She's got to hold hands. You guys got to hold hands with it. Everybody's got to touch.
Here, touch us. Grab our hands.
Everybody does. If it doesn't, it won't work if you don't. You guys ready? Hold it up. The only reason this is going off right now because we all are energy and we all this touch right now. This is what it's all about, guys. We are all energy. We're here together and we're doing this together.
Somebody grab my ass.
Look.
That's more energy.
You wish.
TMI.
Oh. We're waiting for the. So how was your lunch today? Good? There I am in a nice red suit. So, like I said earlier, we're all energy guys, and that's why we're here today. Because we're all it's not about just money. It's not about just like, let's accumulate as much as we can, because that's not enough. We want to express ourselves in a way where we become something different. And there's a lot of emotions that go on. Even when I'm up here speaking, there's emotions going on. Even when you guys are listening to me, there's emotions going on. There's chemical reactions happening in our brain at all times. And some of the chemical reactions that we have are dopamine. And I don't know if you guys know what that is. But that's a neurotransmitter, a neuromodulator that gets us up and moving. That's what gets us to do what we do each and every day. Without it, we wouldn't move. They had done studies with lab rats where they took away their dopamine, and what happened was they wouldn't even eat. They didn't even eat. So when I'm bringing these chemicals up, there's some things I think about. And you guys know who this is? Who is it? No, that's Larry and Phil. He's like, I can hear Phil right now, like, hey, $16, and I made $75,000 on this deal, and then and Larry comes out, put on the Ritz. So, so what I did right there was I got you guys to feel an emotion. It was an emotion of dopamine. So there's this neurotransmitters I was talking about. There's many of them. There's oxytocin. There's serotonin. There's a bunch of different hormones. The other ones I don't know every one, but the one I really know about is dopamine. So you guys, you know who this is? Who knows who this is? Who is it? Well, it's not Phil. No, this one's not Phil. This is Tyson Fury. So at the age of 22, Tyson Fury wanted to fight the heavyweight champion of the world, Vladimir Klitschko. When he first started, his dad gave him the name Tyson, Mike Tyson, and his last name Fury. I mean, there's a better boxer name than that, Tyson Fury. So he went up to Vladimir Klitschko and he said, I'm going to beat you someday. And at the age of 30, he went up to Vladimir Klitschko and said, today you're going to fight a king. And he fought him. And he beat him. Now, see, this was his goal. His whole life, he had this goal to fight Vladimir Klitschko. What happened next, guys? You know what the story is? He won, but he said it was a bunch of rubbish. You know why? Because he met his goals. See, today, we were here in the breakout rooms, and I remember talking about this, and some people retired and then started back up. Larry retired. He started back up. A bunch of people have done this throughout their lives, and they didn't have no goal anymore. So when you don't have a goal, you have nothing to fight for. There's nothing to live for anymore. So what happened to him next was he started indulging in the finer things of life. He started getting involved in drugs, alcohol, cocaine. He was partying all the time. He went from, he's 6'9", by the way, went from 270, 250, he ballooned all the way up to 390 pounds, close to 400 pounds. He had everything. He had a Ferrari. He had the house in the hills, everything. He said one day he took his car, driving his Ferrari, got in it, and he thought to himself, this is the day. This is the day I'm going to kill myself. He's driving 190 miles per hour down the bridge, just going down, and all of a sudden he just turns at the last second. He thinks to himself, I'm not doing that. Not today. One night he's out. He's out with a couple of friends. He said he was going to be out all night long drinking. He's on his first beer, and he's thinking to himself, you know what? This isn't who I want to be. So the next day, he called his wife that night. The next day, he told his wife that, I'm changing my life today. So what did he do? He went out jogging. Now, see, this guy was an athlete. He could jog for hours. But this day he couldn't. He was jogging, 200 yards, huffing and puffing. Well, guess what he did? He got up again and did it again. But then he found a new goal. There was an American boxer, Deontay Wilder. You know who he is? And he found a new goal. Much like many of us, if we don't have a goal, there's nothing to fight for, nothing to live for. So he trained his ass off. And this is what he looked like when he gained weight, by the way, guys. I'm not lying. See, he had a smile on his face, but that smile was hidden. Deep down inside, he wasn't feeling good. There was a guy I know who started indulging in the finer things of life. Now, he had a good business and doing really well and started drinking every night. First of all, it started a little bit and it started increasing. Then he started treating people in his life that were close to him poorly, badly. You know who that guy was? It was me. I realized I was going down the wrong path. My life wasn't going in the right directions. So I had to pick myself back up and find new goals. Instant gratification comes in so many shapes and sizes. We have the dopamine that we're talking about. That's what releases it. When you get instant gratification, when you drink the first sip of an alcoholic beverage, or you do a line of cocaine, or you smoke marijuana. Now, I'm not saying that these things are in moderation would be bad, but to the excess that people do them, you fall into that trap. So instant gratification is the same. Instant gratification is a dopamine that you release. So look at this picture up here, guys. With instant gratification, 0 mile run, and you're getting the reward. That's what it is. The participation trophies that they give out to these kids today, and the cell phones with all the video games on it, that immediately just constantly swiping, is causing our brains to release such an amount of dopamine that it's actually causing us to become numb. That was just kind of funny. This is Homer Simpson. Do you guys watch The Simpsons? Who here watched The Simpsons? So in this episode, he brings out a bottle of mayonnaise and he starts pouring vodka in it, and he's just doing that, and he starts drinking it, and his wife, what's her name again? Do you guys know her name? Marge. Marge says, I don't think that's a good idea. He turns to her and he goes, that's not for me to worry about. That's for future Homer to worry about. Look. So, guy, what is that right there? What is that? A dog in a suit, right? What do dogs do? You feed them food, right? If you just kept feeding them food, would they keep eating the food? What do they do? Even when you neuter them, what do? They still help you, right? No matter what. So that is what instant gratification is. But I came up with an acronym. Write this down. DOG. See, the same hormone that you release that causes instant gratification is the same hormone that will stop you from going down that path. Delayed onset gratification. Write that down. Earlier today, we talked a little bit about this in our breakout rooms. Ask. What's that mean to you? Ask. Ask for help. Ask for help from other people. So I came up with another acronym with ASK. What does the A stand for? Does anybody know? Accountability. Accountability is the number one thing on the ask that you should be doing. Now, there's inner accountability, when you hold yourself accountability for the things that you do wrong. But like we did with the energy stick, we're all energy, we're all together, we work together, we're a team. We can't do this by ourselves. So what you do is you get other people, you hire coaches, like Larry Steinhaus. He's a mentor of mine. I have other coaches, 2 other coaches. Hire coaches. Have somebody help you hold it accountable. Without that, you will not succeed because we need help. What's the S stand for, guys? Was it? Seek. No, you're close. Success is one of them, but what I put down the S for was scheduling. Without scheduling, you're not going to have the day you want. Scheduling is one of the most important things you do. How old are you? Remember this. If you don't schedule your appointments, your day will run you. You can't run your day. All right? So schedule a damn appointment. So if you schedule, you'll hit that with about, even if you hit that with 80% accuracy, it's better than if you didn't schedule at all. You got to have a schedule. They actually did a study. There's a good book out there you guys should get called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he talks a lot about this. And one of the studies, I'm not going to get all the percentages correctly or accurate, but for the most part, what happened in the study blew my mind. They took 3 studies. One, they told them to work out. They had one subject study where they told them to go to the gym and work out. All right? Okay, that was the one subject study. The second one, they said, go work out, and we're going to have you watch these videos where you sit down, and it gives you the benefits, and if you didn't exercise, this is what would happen. And then the third subject study they had them do the same exact thing as the second one, where they told them to work out and watch the videos, but they had them write it down. See what you guys are doing right now, you're writing it down. And when you write it down, it gets transferred to your subconscious mind, and it becomes an action. You're doing action steps when you do that. So what you want to do is write things down. So what do you think the percentages of people that worked out with the first study? Does anybody know? Just take a wild guess. Anybody? 10%? It was about 30% accuracy. Maybe a little bit 34, maybe a little higher. What do you think the second subject group did? No, it was less than the first one. Guess what the third subject group was? What they hit with? What is it, Bill? Do you know? 80% accuracy. So if you don't schedule stuff, you don't write it down, what will happen is your day is going to be gone. You're not going to have the day you want. Schedule everything that you do. What's the K stand for, guys? You got it right. You get a book later on, by the way. So knowledge. Why is knowledge important? Well, how are we going to figure things out if we don't have knowledge? But it's not just as simple as knowledge. It's not as simple as just reading a book or coming to these seminars. It's applied knowledge. Because without applied knowledge, all the knowledge you have means nothing. So you have to take massive action when you're applying these knowledges. Guys, you know who this is? Do you know what he said? He said you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you don't take action, guess what's going to happen? Nothing, zero. You do have to have direction. If you're aiming in the dark, you have no direction. So you do have to have a goal. See, that's what happened to Tyson Fury, what I talked about earlier. That's what happened to me. I had no goal. My goal, I had been making good money. I was living at home. My house was pretty much paid off. I was satisfied. But that's not what satisfies us. We have to keep moving forward in our lives. We got to keep taking one step further. So now, guys, I'm sure you have some old habits. Maybe some habits now that you want to get rid of. I want you to write them down. I don't want you to tell anybody. I want you to write them down right now. Something that you're doing right now that you want to get rid of. And you got to replace it with a new habit. See, when you're building a new habit, you're taking it into the prefrontal cortex. It gets transferred to the amygdala, the striatum, part of your brain. And that's how a habit gets implanted for repetitiveness. And if you don't do that, you're not going to have the habit you want. So you got to replace it and get rid of the bad one. You guys ready to draw a line in the sand today? I take this chant with me wherever I go, guys. I want you to stand up with me right now. Stand up. Everybody in the back. You ready? Hold on, right? I want it to be loud. I want the people out there to hear you. I am a warrior. And I never give up. I am a warrior. And I never give up. I want it louder. I am a warrior. And I never give up. Put your hands up. I am a warrior. And I never give up. Guys, thank you. My name is Burdecki. You guys, I want you guys to contact me. Text me right now. And then reach out to me. You can also take a picture of this. This is my barcode. QR code. Guys, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. There's a habit that you want to get rid of, that you want to start. And if there isn't, that's fine. Just write it down. You guys know what you want. Thank you so much, guys. My name is Burdecki. Hey, you guys, can we get up here and this guy has acid for his shirt?
That was electrifying, Gordon. I think you took the clicker though, Gordon. I got it. One more round of applause for Gordon. I was outside, but did he highlight Andrew and Larry? Did he? Andrew has been working out with Gordon, and I noticed right away, you look great. Keep up the good work. And for those of you who know Phil Falcone's son, wow, he has amazing results. Janet's shaking her head in the back. I never, ever, ever had the desire to work out until I seen Stone Falcone's results. He is ripped. So good job, Gordon. Keep up the good work. All right. Our next speaker is Glenn Dietzel. Glenn is going to show you how to upscale your financial power to create scalable deal flow. He's going to teach us how to establish market leadership with positioning that exceeds the limitations of a New York Times best-selling author. How to flip your business funnel and compress the sales cycle 3 times to 5 times faster. How to teach you core business genius from a 30-second conversation to a $100,000 or 100K program using accelerated learning. Glenn's proprietary process to transform your advice into a high-velocity launch pad for premium price services, perfect for exclusive retreats, private inner circle mentoring, masterminds, and train the trainer / certification programs. Please help me welcome up Glenn Dietzel.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Glenn. Here's
Thank
your
you so
clicker.
much.
You're welcome.
I'm Glenn Dietzel. Really great to be here with all of you. Y'all, I'm going to Texas after this, so I got to get in some y'alls before I get ready for Texas. We're going to go deep. So I hope all of you are ready. I'm going to be working really hard. You guys can take it easy, but you're probably going to want to take some notes, maybe jot down a few diagrams. And I want to showcase to you how we get our clients ready for consults with our company and how I've been able to grow and scale our, oh, you want me to sit right here? Okay. Oh, I'm on a camera. Okay, I see this. I thought we're dancing. So, and I do have a PowerPoint here to keep me on task, and it's coming up very shortly. So as soon as it's there, what's that? Oh, I just have to click. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. See? You don't have to be really good at technology, and you don't have to be a great speaker, because I'm definitely not a great speaker. What you have to do is you've got to have amazing content. And I'm here to tell you that all of you here, through your life skills, you have the ability to be able to transform your industry, whatever you're passionate about. Because I too was like you, not that long ago, 20 years ago, I was sitting in an audience like this, and I realized through the power of self-reflection, writing is the doing part of thinking, so you definitely want to take some notes today. We're going to be going very quickly. I normally speak at about 120 miles an hour with wind gusts that approach 145 to 148. So are you guys okay if I go quickly? Really fast. All right. This is our company flag, one of the websites that we've owned over the years. I've pretty well gone underground over the last 8 years, utilizing my advice and co-branding it, licensing it out to companies, and I'll introduce some of those to you today. So we do a lot to protect our intellectual property. This is our company logo on Mount Everest. One of my clients was so impressed with what we were able to do and help them with. He wanted to put our company flag on Mount Everest, and that was back in May 21st, 2020 or 2011. So just over 10 years ago now. And so I'm going to be sharing with you today 7 mega rules to get a piece of the good life. And I hope you are all ready, because we're going to buckle in, fasten up. This isn't a presentation. This is a true consultation today. So if you're really to upscale your advice, look at what it is that you're really good at doing in your life or currently doing. Maybe if you have a business. How many people here have a business already? Put your hand up. So whatever you think your core competencies are, I'm going to show you that perhaps there's other areas of your company that's even more valuable than that. So I'm going to help you today with your next mega move as an entrepreneur to profit from your advice exponentially. And I'm going to introduce you to the power of publishing and partnership. This is our unique proprietary process and system. It's going to show you, I don't care how old you are, I don't care how much business experience you are, whether you're in startup mode or you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you're going to want to play and watch carefully. And as I said, you're going to want to begin to execute right away. So here are 3 takeaways. I'm going to share with you a new business model to fast track into the innovation economy with your advice. We live in the innovation economy. So it's time to really take a look at how can I leverage myself today. Secondly, how to teach your core genius from a 30-second elevator pitch to a $100,000 plus program using accelerated learning. All of you here could sell a 100K program. It's only by your limitations that you put on yourself that's holding you back. Okay, you could easily sell $1 million program, and I've got clients that have done that. I'm going to introduce to ordinary people that become extraordinary at taking the invisible, what they think is the invisible, and leveraging it using the process and system I'm going to show you. How to go from creating more sales to creating wealth through asset building in a quick, scalable manner. All right, it's your time to open up a flood of new business, both B2C, business to client, and business to business through these 7 mega scaling rules. This is one of my clients, Scott Hallman. I wasn't sure if I was able to play video today, So I took out all my video at the beginning. In fact, I've got so many video case studies. People that know me know I could literally run over 24 hours of video case studies. So I could just sit back with you, just play the videos, and we could just watch and be entertained and stuff like that. But I figured you want to see me, you want me to hear me teach and train you today, so I'm going to do that. This is one of our clients, Scott Hallman. I'm still working with Scott. Scott came in to work with me 10 years ago, well, back in 2009. And he wanted to leverage our system or that I'm going to show you today around how to build a presentation and how to scale your business from it. Scott, using my process, took 12 clients, sold 12 clients in at $70,000. If you do the math, it's an $840,000 payday. And most importantly, he did a Tony Robbins deal, all using our processes and systems that I'm going to show you today. All right? All of you can do this. And the cool thing is he's still my client today, 12 years later. So how do you get those kinds of clients? I'm going to show you. These are some of the people that we've impacted. You'll see Ken MacArthur there. We mentored Ken live, writing his book, his impact book. I was recognized by Adobe back in 2003 with one of the very first ebook authoring programs online. And from that, all of a sudden I had a lot of companies coming to me. They wanted my background in accelerated learning to help them build their curriculum, their content. And then that kind of moved into helping them pitch their deals, helping them create their presentation and the right assets to really leverage that. So we've built and we've created thousands of clients over the years. Today we have a business acceleration program. We certify, it's a train the trainer certification model. I'm not here to train you on that today, but this is how we lead the industry. We've got a model today to help companies grow $10 million plus with nothing but your advice, just knowing how to package, present, and profit from it. So I want you to write this down. You want to focus on doing what others don't do, can't do, or wouldn't think of doing. So what I recommend is that you draw a Venn diagram. All right, you remember that Venn diagram that you had to draw, you're introduced to in probably 6th or 7th grade math, where your teacher had you draw those 3 overlapping circles? Remember that? And you did something with, something that was inclusive and exclusive. Well, I want you to focus on today as I'm speaking, what are you going to begin to do that others don't do, can't do, or wouldn't think of doing? Now, I like to walk, I like to roam, but apparently I'm constrained to this spot right here. Is that correct? So I have to stay right here. I can wiggle this way and I can wiggle this way. Okay, because I used to be a vice principal of an elementary school. So when people weren't paying attention, like, oh, not Tommy. Tommy's sitting at the front of the room. I'd come back here and I'd say, Eric. If Eric wasn't paying attention, I'd be coming like this, and squeezing him, standing by him, glaring at him if he wasn't paying attention, and making sure that I had his attention. So, we'll just take away that picture of Glenn Dietzel. I got into administration really young. My board of education had me slated as the youngest director of education in Canada, and I was starting my PhD. Don't let that hold you back. You don't need doctorates. You don't need master's degrees, postgraduate degrees, none of that. And I've got graduate work up the wazoo, but nobody ever asked me, and you don't need it either. What you need is the discipline to understand how to leverage your life experiences. So we've created all kinds of programs and services over the last 18 years at the forefront of the coaching, consulting, and training industry. This is our future of coaching. You can't buy it because we've taken everything off Amazon. I'm an Amazon bestseller. And we've just pulled off most of our stuff because at the end of the day, people rip you off. And that's just the reality of the online space. It's so competitive today. So this is Ken MacArthur. Ken wrote me an advisory piece. I'm applying right now for application for citizenship in the U.S. Under a visa. I've got a company sponsoring me. I do some high-end mentoring for a number of companies. They like my fulfillment, my reputation and fulfillment. They like our systems, so they want to co-brand them into their company. One of those people that I've known for a long time, Ken MacArthur, all of you, I'm sure most of you know Ken. Ken will be speaking here on Sunday. And Ken highlighted a number of areas that I'm known for in the area of coaching, consulting, and training. So this is my niece, Michaela. Michaela is with the U.S. Secret Service. She is when she graduated with the U.S. Secret Service from the Raleigh Training Center in Maryland. 2 years ago, she was the youngest U.S. Secret Service agent. That's her in front of the White House. So when you graduate, everybody has to do 2-week stint at the White House, and then everybody goes out to their detachment. So Michaela works out of the Boston detachment, and when she's not doing detail, every other month, she is working with the FBI in human trafficking and a joint task force with them. But I wanted to show you this. That's my wife and I. We were invited to the Raleigh Training Center. We had a nice walk down through Air Force One. This is a mock-up. So they have everything that they'll need to be aware of as a U.S. What I'm most impressed with, I think, was being a part of the Honor the Oath ceremony. You know, the Secret Service could have done this at any fancy hotel in Washington. And where they did their graduation, they did it right at the Raleigh Training Center. My wife and I, being Canadians, we have to have special clearance to be there. But what I really respected was the fact of, the whole pledge of honor the oath. And that is always be worthy of trust and confidence. And that's what clients, and I show this because that's what clients have had. They've paid very large sums of money to invest with me over the years. And I want to respect that investment like the U.S. Secret Service does. All the members, when they become Secret Service agents, they pledge allegiance, obviously, to the American flag and also to uphold trust and confidence in their profession and discipline. So we've had other advisors, other business owners that I've known for years. Yannick Silver. Yannick is out of the Washington area, Virginia area, and I've spoken at some of his events. I've known him for 15 plus years, and he says here, if I just circle the main point, Glenn Dietzel's company, Awaken, is a subcontractor of my company in delivering business coaching to our joint clients under the Evolved Enterprise brand. I will continue to lean on Glenn's expertise into the future. In my expert opinion, Mr. Dietzel would qualify for extraordinary ability in his sector. So I'm applying for an O1A visa under specialized skills. So I just show you that because this is the reputation that I have in this industry. I've been a coach, a consultant, a trainer for a couple of decades now, and there's very few of me that have been in this industry for as long as I have. So I know this industry, this expert industry, and how to create an expert platform very well. I know all the hype and the BS in the industry, and I know what's legit. And I'll show you today how to make money while you sleep by partnering with others with your recommendations. Be the go-to in-person person sharing your knowledge and advice with the world and getting paid high-priced fees. Have the confidence in knowing that you can help other people have fun and profit in ways that you couldn't have ever imagined. So I'm going to show you that today. It's really exciting because I would have never dreamed that I'm doing what I'm doing. I didn't go through education. I didn't start as a teacher and then get into administration at a young age to ever dream of doing what I'm doing today. How to make money by sharing your advice with others. I'm going to show you a whole new model. How to have passive residual, like we call it, loyalty, royalty income streams. How to have a lifestyle business or a piece of the dream that allows you to give back and leave a legacy. So you're about to discover how to use accelerated learning and get results and get your clients' results even faster. How to go from growth and scale in business to mega scale using principles of accelerated learning, and how to publish your advice using the specific tools that will allow you to easily scale the value of your advice. So most people think to become an expert, I got to write a book. All right? The problem with that is that everybody's writing a book. Just go to Amazon, go to Google, go to LinkedIn, and just see how many experts in your industry have a book. And one of our speed to market principles is greater sameness won't get you better results. So you've got to be different. And a book holds your intellectual property hostage. All right, so you don't want to do that to yourself. So what I'm going to show you is how to tap into a red-hot, multi-billion-dollar training industry with nothing but armed with your life experiences. The proven process for turning ideas into passive residual income. How to publish for profits yourself and others. The revolutionary Speed to Profit Publishing and Partnership Program to create explosive growth with a new way to design a course from your life experiences. So here's my promise. I'm going to give you my easy-to-follow, step-by-step process that you can use tomorrow to start creating results. Because that's what we all want, right? We want results. We want outcomes. That's why you should be here. If you're not here for results and outcomes, you're wasting your time. I'm wasting my time. You'll walk away with insider's knowledge that 99% of the experts in this industry do not know. So I'm going to scale you in the next 90 minutes that we have into a whole new realm of how to understand, perceive your value, and how to begin to communicate it so you could start going out and selling very high-end programs and services. For you, maybe you want to start with 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Many of my clients want to start at 50 or 100 or higher. What I'm about to share with you, you won't find anywhere else on the planet once it comes to selling high-end programs and services. So let's define what publishing is, and let's define what speed to profit publishing is. So what is publishing? It's the activity of making information available to the general public, okay? Go to Amazon and you'll see that. What is speed to profit or publishing? It's a strategic way of sharing your information in the age of advisors that allows for leveraged partnerships, royalties, and leveraged profits. Okay, so partnerships, royalties, and leveraged profits. Now, I want to emphasize the concept here. It's around speed. You see, when I was a young guy, younger than I am now, and I told my father, my dad was a CPA of a pharmaceutical industry called Wyeth. Today they're owned by Pfizer. And my dad was, I hear some noise in the background. And my dad told me, Glenn, you don't go for your dream. I was telling my dad, I really want to get out of education. I want to do something bigger. I feel this calling that I was meant to do something bigger than what I was doing. And I really enjoyed students. But I got into administration at a really young age. I was the youngest administrator in Canada. And people that were mentoring me, older principals and superintendents and directors of education, because they were pushing me to get into the highest levels as quickly as possible, they were saying, Glenn, we really don't know how you're going to do this without burning out or getting burned out just with all the landmines in education and the politics. And so I decided, you know what, I want to start a business. And I told my dad, and my dad said to me, Glenn, what's going to happen to you is this. Don't do it, first of all, because anybody that goes after their dream ends up committing suicide. That's what my dad thought. That's how acluistic my dad is. Now, you can't find that word in a dictionary. That's my definition of somebody that's being totally emotionally out of it. And that was my dad. I love my dad. When my dad in his last couple of years, I was like the mentor to my dad because he leaned on me emotionally because he was one of those accountants. They tend to attract that kind of person that's really good with numbers, but not very good at making emotional connections with people. And that we certainly, I was the father in our relationship. So I realized that, if I have to prove my dad wrong, I need to be able to really get out. Because I knew at the end of the day, my dad's only going to listen to me if I can show him that I'm making money. And not just money, but good money. So I put a speed to profit program together, and we started building some assets that became very successful in the industry. And I ended up fast forwarding it. I showed my dad what I was making, and he finally bought into my dream. So I don't want you to have to go through the disappointment that I did, because it didn't happen overnight, as I'm going to share with you, because the first year I did everything wrong. And when I finally clued in, everything transformed for me in 90 days, and I'm going to show you what I did today. And you can do the same thing, and even faster than me, just like our clients. So what I want you to understand today is that generating leads is super easy. It is super easy to get a following. It is not hard. What is difficult is designing the right leads who want to invest in your highest price programs and services. Anybody here can start you got an Instagram page, a Facebook page, LinkedIn page. You can start generating leads. You can buy leads very easy. I can show you how to develop zero money. You can start generating all kinds of traffic, more traffic than you could ever dream of. But designing something that allows you to attract the right leads is what you want to be focusing on. And you need to understand this, and I hope you have an ear to hear and an eye to see this. Experts need our help. A majority of experts, authors, coaches, and business owners, they don't realize that their knowledge has more value than a $1995 book or ebook. All right? They don't know that publishers like us exist that could turn their book into a $15,000 certification program with royalties or a $50,000 mentorship program. And all of you can do this. All of you can. It's easy to find experts and authorities. Once you tell them what you can do for them, they practically beg you to publish their info. They need you a lot more than you need them. This is nothing like the scale you get, and there's nothing like the scale you get in a publishing business that I'm going to show you today. And it's unlike any business in the world. You can control your own destiny by owning your own advisory business. All right, so I'm going to show you today how to start rethinking your life experiences, how to codify them, and how to package them, and how to profit from them. So why should you publish yourself or even others? Well, it's much easier to get results in clients and customers. It allows you to make more and get paid top dollar. You get to dominate your competition, and experts need your help. The opportunity is now. We are just now entering what I call the advisory age. With so many experts, so many gurus, especially over the last year and a half, everybody going into the online space, it's even easier to stand out away from the price and commodity ladder. And the only way of doing that is to position yourself around value. So now more than ever, it's never been easier to build an expert platform using a different model. So you want to think about strategic advisory tools that can make the new publishing model for you easier, fast, for anyone to get started. So why should you listen to me, and who am I? That's a good question, right? Who is this guy from Canada? I'm the president and CEO of Awaken Inc. I'm 19 years plus as an entrepreneur. I've been published, and I've published thousands of people, both through our book authoring process, our entrepreneurial authoring process in our early days, and more specifically today with specific strategic tools to allow them to compress the sales cycle and increase the valuation for their products and services and for their company. We've been involved with strategic partnerships that have generated over $250,000. We've worked with companies like Adobe and Rogers, which is a big company in Canada, a publicly traded company. We've taught thousands of clients how to create and sell premium price programs from $5,000, $10,000 to over $1 million, okay? And all of you can do that. All right, you can do it, and we're going to show you how. So 3 reasons clients invest with me. Number 1, I'm a master teacher, all right, at helping clients from scratch identify, value, and strategically position your intellectual property to sell high-priced programs in their niche. So I want you to think away from your life experiences and start thinking of it around intellectual property, because that's what sells in today's market. Huge. And when you see what I've done and our clients have done, it's going to be really exciting for you to enter into this domain if you haven't already. Not only have I sold millions in high-end mentoring, but more importantly, my clients have been able to do the same. So I'm a teacher by passion and training. My success is predicated on my client's success. We've been a leading company with other companies wanting to partner with me, like Scalable.co. How many people here know Ryan Dice from Digital Marketer? Scalable.co, okay. They're the biggest digital marketing firm online. Evolved Enterprise with Yannick Silver. And I co-brand my IP, my advice inside of their companies. And that just creates massive traction for myself. And I'm going to show you what you can do as well. What I want you to understand today is that the skill sets of making it a business and teaching others are separate. Okay, so the gurus that say, hey, follow me, look at me, the YouTube people, the influencers, right? I'm so successful and you can do it too. Just follow me. The problem is the skills of making it in business, and how many influencers have really made it. That's another discussion. But how many people that say they've made it and truly have the skill sets to help you make it? Because those skills are completely separate than actually making it, doing it for themselves in business. So these are some of the strategic alliances that I have with Scalable, with Evolved Enterprise, large companies that are doing close to $100 million in sales, on their way to $1 billion. So the skills of making it a business and teaching others to be successful are separate. So what I want to say right now is it's really, really, really great to be with all of you today. Honestly, this consultation today has the potential to truly change your lives. What's gone into this, what I'm sharing with you, has cost me about almost $7 million. and about 18,000 hours across 120 industries to share with you my recommendations today. So I want you to make sure that you're taking notes. As I said, we're going to go very quickly. This is my family. We've had a chance to literally travel the world. Both my boys are 22 and 23 now. My oldest son's moving to New York City. And my youngest son is finishing up math. Both of them have had an opportunity to be mentored by me in business. We branded one of our homes the Canadian Lake Home. A lot of clients love my mastermind formula. So it's all around how do you find an ideal home, brand it, cash flow it through high-end boutique intensives or masterminds for your advice. And so my boys I did that partially because I wanted my boys, we branded one of our homes the Canadian Lake Home, so it gave my kids a chance to meet all kinds of cool people like yourself and be mentored by them. And secondly, I didn't have to be preaching at my kids all the time. They could, quietly listen to their dad. And they could listen to other really cool entrepreneurs tell them what they're doing and how I've been able to influence them in their business. So it's been a great business model for me. And this is our Speed to Profit publishing and partnership program. So here are the common myths. You have to be an expert or well-known. I'm here to tell you, you absolutely don't have to be. All right? So if you think you do, you don't. You have to be a good salesperson. Absolutely not. Okay? I suck at sales. All right? All you have to do is you got to have a system. You got to have an algorithm. You got to understand the syntax of how a buying decision is made and how to leverage your intellectual property, your advice as a trusted advisor. You have to be a good speaker. Absolutely not. Look at me. I'm not a great speaker. All of you could do this. You could stand up and you could present on what it is that you're really passionate about. You have to have distribution channels. You don't. You must have a massive operation overhead. You don't. You must have products already. Absolutely not. The question I want to ask you right now is, are you ready to be our next success story? Are you ready to really step up like you've never stepped up before and really impact your P&L statement for your company? You see, there's two kinds of investments you can make. You can make a treasury investment. That is, you can dump your cash flow, money that you got sitting in your accounts, bank accounts, etc., and you can get in and you can start buying assets. Or you can build skills like trading. And that's fantastic, and you should be doing that. There's also, though, the P&L side, profit and that side of your business. And I want all of you to see yourself right now as the CEO of your company. You see, most of my clients that come to me, they're the CEOs, but they don't see themselves as the CEO. They see themselves as the VP of operations or a manager, because that's what they seem to be doing. They seem to be working harder than they've ever worked before. And I want you to, first of all, see yourself as the CEO. So I want you to right now take off your whatever hat you think you have, take that off. And I want you to just do it right now. Take off whatever that hat is that you think you're wearing right now. Take it off, the metaphorical hat that you're wearing. And I want you to grab another hat, and you're the CEO of your company. Put it on right now. I want to see everybody put that hat on. Remember, I used to be a vice principal. If you didn't obey me, you did time in my office. All right? So, all of you now, from now on, moving forward here, you're the CEO of your company. So I want you to step back. You see, most people are too close to what's going on. If you want to really see what's going on, you got to step back. You got to zoom out. You not zoom in. So I want all of us right now, we are going to zoom out. And I want you to, as I'm speaking today and I'm consulting with you, I want you to take a look at yourself. I want you to see what you're doing daily. What is it that's holding you back? What is it that you just know is just somehow, some way, it's not creating leverage for me? I am deflating my influence, my impact, the advice that I bring. And I'm going to give all of you right now permission to play big, because my dad didn't give me permission to play big. He didn't give me permission to play big until I had to show him, literally show him what I was making to get his approval. How bad is that? Publishing equals freedom. Listen, I have the freedom today to do whatever it is that I want. I travel here. I'm going to be traveling to Austin, Texas afterwards, then traveling to Florida. And I'm making more money than I've ever made in life. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not here to brag or do anything. I'm not going to show you what I own. We own lots of really cool assets. I think my best asset that I own personally is crypto. I think it's the absolute apex asset in the property field because that's how the U.S. government taxes it as property. But that's another discussion. But I own even, I think as important as that is, on a treasury side for the Dietzel family and for my business, because that's where we put our cash flows. But I think on the P&L side of what we do, there's an asset that I own that's even more, and that's my advice. That comes from my life experiences. And all of you can do the very same thing. Not all advice is created equal. If you want to make your advice look equal, then just do what everybody else is doing. Okay? The best advice is vetted advice. So I want you to take a look at your life experiences. First of all, what is it that you're really good at doing that's better than anybody else? And I want you to think about how you're going to message it and how you're going to create value around it. You see, the challenges that most people are facing is that they're confused as to the fastest way to focus and create results for themselves. Secondly, they're unsure of how to build an expert platform that creates passive royalty income and strategic positioning. And they don't have a formula or a system that takes them through the process. All right, and the Speed to Profit Publishing and Partnership Program is going to do that. So I'm going to give you 7 mega scaling principles today. You're going to want to write them down, and I'm going to take you through them. Clients pay me a lot of money to give this kind of foundation for them, so when they start working with me, they can work even quicker, because everything today is about speed to market and speed to lead. So first of all, with your CEO hat on and from a bird's eye view looking down upon yourself, I want you to take a look at how you daily operate. And we're going to change the trajectory of how you operate. That's really important. Change the trajectory of how you operate. And here's the law of quantum growth that I want to share with you right now. You see, if you're really honest with yourself, all of you are on some continuum of poor to super in terms of the results that you really want. So I want you to draw that line right now on a sheet of paper that is in front of you. Label it poor on one side, super on the other. And honestly, I'm not looking at this and nobody else should look at your line, but I want you to grade yourself. Where are you? Literally draw an arrow where you are on the results that you want to get for yourself, for your business, because you're treating each other. You're treating yourselves as the CEO of your company. Where are you on that continuum? Be honest with yourself. Because if you can't get honest with yourself right now, I mean a gut visceral check, where are you? Right now. Be honest. Don't overthink this. You see, everything is predicated on getting the kind of results that you want and taking the right kind of action. Okay? Now, before you can take the right kind of action, you got to understand the discipline between how the mind and how the heart works. Okay? You heard Gordon talk about a dopamine effect. Okay? If you want a dopamine effect, I'm going to show you how to message what you do that creates the most dopamine effect, that is getting other people to feel great about your message and get them to want to invest in any product or service that you want to launch. Okay? But even before that, you've got to get your potential candidates, clients for your programs and services into a high level of concentration. Now, the best way that experts will teach you to do that is to use NLP. How many people know what NLP is? Neuro-linguistic programming, right? But I'm going to tell you today there's even a better way than that, and that's using accelerated learning. And that's what I'm going to show you. So we can draw that same diagram, and today what we're going to focus on is accelerated execution. But before you can do that, you got to start with accelerated focus. Why? Because your decisions that you make today and moving forward as the CEO of your company are held hostage to your level and your ability to focus. So you've got to have a way of focusing better. And you've got to teach others how to focus better. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And you just use a better model using accelerated learning. We all want ROI, right? What's ROI? Return on investment. We all want ROI. Who doesn't want ROI? But there's actually a more fundamental concept that we actually all want. And what is that? It's called ROIT, return on invested time. You see, when you can truly get control of your time, and the only way to do that is to step back and take a look at what I'm doing. Because we all have blind spots in what we're doing. We all do, if you're honest with yourself, right? The fastest way of getting close to the source of momentum for yourself is to be around the kind of mentors that are going to help and assist you. So when I'm working with CEOs of startups or existing companies, I always like to help CEOs move to the guide area. So basically, this is a matrix that takes a look at your operations and tactics along the vertical line to the vision strategy of what you're doing. And then if you look at early stage, late stage, on the y-axis, the first one on the x-axis, the one that's laying down or lying down. And I like the guide, the upper right corner. Why? Because that's where all the money is at as the CEO for your company, is positioning yourself as a trusted advisor, as a guide, to help others with vision and strategy and help them, from your life experiences. Because all of you are at some level, I don't care how old you are, all of you are at late stage in some area of figuring something out the hard way, right? Think about what it is that's cost you the most money, the most emotional energy out of your life. And I want you to start writing this down. Like, what are those areas? What if I could codify that into a program or service really quickly, like literally in a few hours, and be ready to start selling it and get people willingly to want to buy it? Then how do you price point it? Well, I'm going to show you some really cool ways of doing this. So this is what we do at the Canadian Lake Home and a place that we have in Vegas. We call it the Vegas Sandcastle. We do one-day business acceleration intensives. All the clients that come in want my most guarded strategies and systems for commanding maximum fees and royalties for high-priced programs. Our focus with these kind of clients is to help them build and leverage our mastermind monetizer and our private white label, our coaching and co-branding system, so they can bring those right into their company, some type of licensing model. Then we help them with the implementation and closing some deals to get everything going really quickly, even if they're in startup mode. And it gives people a chance to take a look at what I'm doing in business right now. So I show them our tools, our templates, our processes. Everybody's under an NDA when they come in. They're not allowed to post anything in social media. So everything I'm sharing with you today is 100% proprietary. Okay? It's for your eyes only. Okay, you can talk about this, but tools, systems, and processes stay in here. This is the Canadian Lake Home, where we do our private one-day intensives. We made this investment. It's got some of the best sunsets in the world, according to the National Geographic. And clients ultimately want our fast-track launch formula, where I work with them and help them launch a service, 7-figure, 8 figures, right out of the gate, even if they're a startup, okay, following our process. And they come in, we allow them to take pictures, we give them tools, processes, and systems. And this is one of our clients, Ted McGrath. I'll introduce you here to Ted, and he can tell you what he learned at the Canadian Lake Home.
Hey, it's Ted McGrath, creator of Coaching Leadership Academy, and I am at the Canadian Lake House and with Glenn Dietzel. Check it out. Amazing 2 days. This isn't the ocean. It looks like the Bahamas, but we're in Canada, and it's an amazing experience I've had for 2 days. And I'll tell you what I've learned traveling to Canada, being with Glenn, about my business. I had 2 days to really think strategically about my business. So what I want to share with you in this video is you got to be strategic if you're going to grow a coaching business.
Okay, you've got to be strategic. You can't be throwing out willy-nilly stuff and hoping that it's going to stick in today's market. You've got to understand, step back and take a look at what's going to create the biggest impact in my industry. Because if you can't create impact instantly, you are going to lose because there's just too many people in the online space. There are new competitors. If you just take a look at the number of competitors that you have, think about any industry that you're interested in. Part of your homework this evening is to go online and just, use a keyword phrase that somebody might search for something that you're really interested in doing or currently doing. Go to Amazon, go to LinkedIn, and just see how many competitors are in that industry. Okay? You're being drowned out. So you've got to be strategic. Success is fractal. I want you to write this down. How you do one thing is how you do everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So when clients come into the Canadian Lake Home, and they're working with me for a year, and our programs run $100,000 or higher, depending on what program or system that they're in. But we always start with helping them if they've never closed a deal, do that first deal. That's our goal. And then we help them grow and scale that. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you have intellectual property, if you've got processes, templates, models, as I'm going to show you, you can jumpstart yourself right out of the gate. If you're already in business, you can leverage what I'm going to show you, immediately. Okay? To do what it is that you want to do. When you meet my wife, and some of you probably will at some point, my wife will tell you I'll be doing what I'm doing for the rest of my life because I love the mentoring process. My expertise and where my sweet spot is on fulfillment. I love helping clients get success because that's what made Glenn Dietzel tick when I was a kid. I started a tutoring company when I was in high school because I just liked helping people. All right. And I took those skills and I thought, my parents wanted me to become a doctor. So my first degree was in science. My parents really knew me. They would say, Glenn shouldn't become a doctor. Ask my wife. I faint when I see blood. Okay? When I give blood, I'm not as bad as some of the guys. Some of these tough dudes like William, he might have to lay, he doesn't need to lie down like I do when he gives blood. I do, because I'm scared. All right? So I suck it up. I'm lying down and she's talking to me, which usually a she, right? A nurse. Sometimes it's a guy. And, they're talking me through this. Because science, medicine wasn't what Glenn's calling. My calling is teaching. My calling is training. My calling is to help others, specifically in business, because I didn't plan this. I didn't plan to be doing this today. I didn't plan to be here. This is my calling. And a calling means there's purpose. And a purpose means you follow what it is that you see that's before you. In biblical language, it is do as occasion shall serve. And when you have an occasion, you serve. And that's what I'm doing today. Serving you with what I think is the best advice that I could bring you today if you're looking at all to growing and scaling an advice-based business. Not an information business because we're drowning in information. You've got to be more strategic than that. So second principle is this: understand your value as defensible intellectual property. You got to say that. You got to think that. If you're not thinking of your advice as intellectual property, then forget about it. It's lost. Anything you even try to do, writing a book, I might dabble and do a membership site because some experts said, you could just create a membership site and make all the money in the world. Or I could just post some videos, be an influencer, and sell something on the back end. It's not as easy as that because everybody's doing that. Okay? You want to look within for value. You want to look without for perspective. What's the perspective today? That if you understand how to repackage what it is that you think you do in the way that I'm going to show you, package it, present it, and profit from it, you can really leverage yourself. So you want to have intellectual property today. So when I'm doing consulting work and I go into a company, one of the first things that I do, we first of all start on the sales and the profit side, and I help optimize that. Then we look into the intellectual property side of what they're doing, and there's 40 ways to increase a company's valuation. And all of you need to be thinking of that, even if you don't have a company yet. You got to be thinking, how can I increase my own personal valuation? You see, if you're holding your valuation locked into what other people think you're worth, when I started in business, I was locked into trading time for money. Glenn Dietzel, as a vice principal, when I started my company, was making about $50 an hour. So I thought, okay, I got to create a product that's, that's what I'm worth, I guess. That's what they're paying me. And that's how limiting is that? But that's the mindset that all of us can get into. So the traditional definition of how to value IP has a fundamental flaw. And that is that the assets and liabilities on a company's balance sheet now account for only 60% of its real market value, and the number is going down, according to Dr. Lev. What that means is this, that if you have that's for publicly traded companies. That means that what you see on their assets and on their company's balance sheet, that's not what they're worth. And if you're a small business trying to make a go at this today, you're depreciating yourself even more than a publicly traded company is already. You've got a massive handicap going into this market. All right? And what does Steve Wallman say, former commissioner of Securities and Exchange? He says the financial statements are measuring less and less of what truly is valuable in a company. What we need are ways of measuring the intangibles. All right? So what is business enterprise? I want you to write this down. Yourself. All of you with the CEO of your company, You're operating a business enterprise. All of you are in business right now. When I was in education, even without a business and not doing business, I was in business. I was operating as a 501c3, a not-for-profit, right? My personal being was a not-for-profit. I was in a not-for-profit model. So when I went into business, I didn't understand that. I was completely valuing what I was doing incorrectly because I was so programmed to think like somebody in a job and somebody in a socialistic industry like I was. So you want to look at these 4 areas: working capital, fixed assets, intangible assets, and intellectual property. Okay, and then you just want to look at these last 2 really quickly here. What are intangible or intellectual property? Well, IP can be everything from patents, trademarks, copyrights, technological know-how, designs, formula, trade secrets. All of you have this from your own life experiences. When you think about that problem that you solve, that somebody comes to the water cooler and asks you, or calls you up, or wants to meet you for coffee, and they tend to ask you the same kinds of questions because you attract those people in your life. What do you think about this? How do I solve for this? Okay? Those are trade secrets. Those are copyrights. Those are technological know-hows and helping people get things done. You have intellectual assets. And publicly traded companies have intangible assets, and all of you do as well. You know, if you have a company, an actual company, and you have supply contracts, licenses, distribution, networks, customer lists, manufacturing processes, research capabilities. My point in saying this is that all of you have intangible assets that are not being monetized, and that's probably from your life experiences. And what if we could help codify that and help you package, present, and profit from that, like we do with people that have businesses? So what's the biggest mistake that the traditional market makes with intellectual property? That is that intellectual property and intangible assets are separate entities, and they're not. They are the same thing. So all your life experiences and your true value is probably not being monetized today. If you're operating like I was when I was an educator, it's truly not. I wasn't monetizing at all what I was doing properly. And even when I started in business, I didn't realize where my real strengths and gifts were and what I should be doing in business. I thought just because I was good at putting curriculum together, we'll put an authoring program together, and created a lot of traction that way. But that's not where my unique genius was. So there are types of defensible IP. We go into companies and we help identify them. What I want you to just take a look at is that all of you got valuable secrets from your own life. All of you have personal privacy, stuff that you've been able to figure out over time that you could leverage in today's market, okay? You've got original works of authorship. You've put something together, even if it was a diagram, to help somebody see their problem and then help them orchestrate an answer. That can become intellectual property very easily, okay? So principle number 2 is understand the value as defensible IP. When I understood this, I was an educator of an elementary school. I was running the rat race like everybody else that has a job. And my wife, I was starting a PhD. As I said, I have 2 master's degrees. My wife said, you know what, maybe you shouldn't start a PhD, because we were really having a hard time making ends meet as a family financially. So my wife armed me with some Robert Kiyosaki books. Okay, we know Kiyosaki Corridor down there, right? And guess what? I resonated with Robert Kiyosaki. How? Because if you know his poor dad, who was he? He ran the educational department in Hawaii. He was a director of education, and that's where I was going. So I really resonated with Robert Kiyosaki's poor dad. All right? And I began to start understanding the paradigm of the wealthy and accumulating assets that can produce cash flow. All right? So I started that in 2002, Christmas of 2002. Got recognized by Adobe. Had massive traction in the educational space, and yet we still didn't have enough money to replace my wife and my income to get out of our jobs. My wife was she was an occupational therapist, and I was an educator. And so I started traveling to Toronto. This was one weekend I was in Toronto, and I was marking papers that were for teachers to become teachers in Ontario, and I was doing it to make a little extra money. And I realized I came across an event, and I said, you know what, I got to go to that event in January. And from that, I just show that picture of Toronto because that night I realized adding another job to my life with 2 young kids at home, my boys were 4 and 5, wasn't making it happen. And I was coaching sports. I've always coached sports. I've always been very competitive in athletics. I compete in Spartan races. I compete in cycling. And I love that kind of stuff. I've beaten up my body, so I stopped running and got into cycling a couple of years ago. But this, I just show you a picture of the Toronto skyline because that's where everything changed. I had paper, pen like you did. I started journaling and said, you know what, I stepped back. I was away from my kids. This was just before Christmas, so I was missing yet another weekend with them. So what I did is I learned how to, with what I'm going to show you, how to make $103,048 from 500 contacts, and I did that in 90 days, in 3 months. And what I did was this, and imagine you being able to even do it faster, learning how to sell a $497 program, a $797, a $1,200, a $2,400. The first time I charged one of our clients $2,400, my wife said, "What are you doing? You're not worth that." And I said, "But I am, because they pay me $2,400. See, I was doing mentoring for another company, and that company was selling mentoring to work with Glenn at $20,000. And then they started scaling it up. I'm thinking, like, people are paying me $497, $797 have access to me, and somebody else is selling me to work with me, and they're charging a lot more. So it was the huge aha moment was realizing that I was held hostage to the paradigm that I was working in. So we started scaling. It was all because of my demand, my time. I just like people coming to me, $4,000. Then they were paying me $7,900 willingly, $10,000, $20,000, and much more. And within 6 months, I sold my first $50,000 mentoring program. And within 6 months, I had my first $100,000 100K program as well sold. And if I can do that, you can do it. All right? And I'm going to show you lots of clients that have been able to do that. So next steps. What do you do better than anyone else? I want you to identify that. And I want you to think about that this evening. And I want you to journal. What is it that you do better than anybody else? Next, once you know this, and there are 2 keys to success. Number 1, how are you going to value? How do you create value? Specifically, don't just be willy-nilly about this, I help others. Specifically, what it is, what do you do? What are the outcomes that you can provide for somebody else? And next, how are you going to message it? Because after that, the rest is amplification and execution. That's all business is. Just get really good at these 4 areas. The first 2, and you can be profitable. 3 and 4, you can grow and scale. But you've got to have the foundation right. So when we're working with companies, for example, these are Ebitda tables. If you don't have a professionally managed company, you probably don't care about Ebitda. But Ebitda, how many people know what Ebitda is? Okay. It's a way of valuing a company based on how much money you're making, okay? So I'm not going to go through Ebitda, but my point is this, that based on the industry you're in, you can get a higher multiple for what it is that you're worth. So I'm working with companies on a consulting basis. Our goal is to try to move them into a more profitable industry, and just by doing that, get a better multiple for their company. So instead of being worth like 5 times, they could be worth 15 times, 20 times, by simply transferring their skill sets into another industry like I'm going to show you, okay? And all of you can do that as a small business. So I did this. This is a seller discretionary earnings. So this would be for a small business. They're classified as an SDE company. And my point in showing you this, if you look at your SDE, say you're doing 50,000, your multiple is only going to be 1 to 1.25. If you're a company as a small business owner and you're doing 500,000, you'll get a multiple of 3 to 4 times if you go to sell. If you're doing $1 million, you'll get a multiple of 3.25 to 4.25, okay? That's what your business valuation would be. That's what you could sell your company for. So if you're in startup or you're newer in business, your goal is to get to that million plus as quickly as possible. Create the multiple for yourself and create leverage on your intellectual property. So the best valuations I just wanted to show you here are for service and IP companies. So you want to think of your intellectual property that you have, and you want to think around a service. What's a service that I can bring to the market? Why? Because a service-based company can get a 31 times multiple on your SDE. So whatever your SDE multiple is, you can get up to a 31 times multiple. All right? And on an IP company, and you can get up to an 8 times multiple, okay, in that industry. So you want to focus on repositioning your company as soon as possible for greater valuation. And this is what companies like Scalable that I do mentoring for really focus on. So operate not as if you have one more day, but one less day. So standing back and taking a look at your company as a CEO, what are you going to stop doing? I want you to start writing it down. Right now, write down. What's one thing you're going to stop doing? Write it down. And what's one thing that you're going to begin to implement immediately? Like immediately. Principle number 3, the map is not the territory. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to give you 20 seconds right now. There's the start. There's the finish. Can you finish the maze in 20 seconds using just your eyes? Ready, get set, and go. Put your hand up when you've completed this. All right. 5 seconds. All right. Here's the answer. How many people found that? All right. Good. All right. So if you use lateral thinking, like, why did you do that? Because we're all constrained by the conditions that we've grown up in. My family, my middle-class dad, who said, Glenn, you can't dream. Right? That's because people that dream end up committing suicide. That's what my dad said. He said that to me many times. Don't dream, Glenn. Play it safe. Get the golden handcuffs, right? Move up the corporate ladder. So what assumptions are impeding your speed right now? That's the question for you. And what if you use disruptive thinking in your marketplace? Make new rules or create a new system. I'm going to show you it's much faster and much easier than you thought it was ever possible to create disruption in your market, because that's what you're paid to do. When everybody says to go that way, you should be pointing that way. If they all say to go up, you need to be pointing down. You've got to create disruption. So you've got to create a new set of rules and a new system for getting your outcomes that your target market is after. Stop telling people what you do and instead begin showing them. So there's 4 types of business maps in your business. Just really quickly, there's a growth map. Your growth map can be thought of your product or your service launch. Okay, so all of you, probably if you've been thinking around, well, you know, my advice could be worth a lot. I see this person apparently making a lot of money from his book or from his membership site, or he sells some coaching or consulting, because everybody wants to put their name up as a coach or a consultant today. The market is so flooded with that. 96% of people, roughly, never fail to make a profit from their book, let alone a profit from their program, because they want to use their book for their program or service, right, as a lead generator. And the problem is it just, by and large, does not work. Second kind of map you want to have for your service or your program is a fulfillment map. Okay? How are you going to demonstrate by a map, physically showcasing to your potential clients how they're going to get the results that you're going to give them? The next time a map is the innovation map. If you're going to go into any market with your advice as a trusted advisor, you're going to have an innovation map, because you're paid to innovate in today's market. And then finally, a monetization map. Okay, and so when we're going and I'm working with companies, we build these 4 types of maps really quickly so they have them, so they can build and grow and get out from underneath their business and truly grow and scale. I'm going to show you there's an actual faster way of doing this, and that is combining 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and creating a visual spatial representation for your advice. Okay, this is what we've done to launch our company, and this is how I started closing those high-end deals that I showed you. We transformed what I thought I was doing into a visual spatial representation. You see, the human mind, your mind and your clients' minds only remember visually and spatially. They don't remember with words. So you want to start getting really good at communicating your ideas, your thoughts around using diagrams. It's even better if you can showcase what your competitors fail to do first and then showcase what you do. So on an SDM, a strategic design model, what we do with our clients is we help them build a headline, first of all. Then, and these would go, and we use these as a visual. So the first time I did this, I went to an event. I was invited, because of my rapid growth that I just showed you, I was invited to a private event with Tony Robbins at the Wynn in Las Vegas. And a lot of people, everybody brought their books because they were all experts. They were all gurus. They were all thought leaders. I was the only one that didn't bring a book. I brought this. I put it on high gloss paper. I had it printed at Staples. It was double bonded, so it looks really sweet. And I was just carrying it around on a really nice clipboard. And everybody's asking me, what is that? And I just used it for consulting. And Tony Robbins' organization saw that, and what did they do? They said, hey, well, Tony was joint venturing with 2 other people. Chet Holmes, you might know Chet. Chet did all of Tony's radio ads before he passed away, and Larry Benet. And those guys saw what I was doing, and they said, hey, we'd like you to get up and speak at this private mastermind. I wasn't asked to speak. It was my first speaking engagement. And I got up on stage, and the first person to come up and hire me from that was Les Brown. How many people here know Les as a speaker? Okay, Les was the first person, and this was the tool that I used. So there's 7 items that you can do to create massive traction with your advice, and that is leverage validity. You want to have an internal, external validity, a law, a testimonial, a flow chart. So you want to flow chart out your advice. You want to build credibility, so you should have social proof on it, so a branding, a copyright. There's actually 21 ways that you can build credibility at a non-conscious level to get people to instantaneously say, you're the person I want to hire. Okay, that's how fast you got to be in today's market, because it's all about speed to market. All right, and then you got to have your own languaging. So we have speed to market as one of our language patterns. Marketing momentum, you want to demonstrate it. You want to have it coded, so we have it color coded, and different shapes and strategic next steps. So that's what we started with. And I just wanted to show you, because that's what I started building, and we leveraged that system right there for many, many years until we moved on as a company. And most of my clients start with something like that. So here's one of my clients, Eric. Eric's used that. We helped diagram out his competitive advantage. On the left is what his competitors fail to do versus on the right what he does. So the competitive advantage is clearly stated for the potential client that he was consulting. We close the deal, and here's the principle that I want to share with you. Speed to market principle, speed to lead is success loves sequence. You got to create sequence. So here's Eric. When he started with me, he went right out of the gate. He was selling $10,000 to $20,000 programs with conversion rates that run 60%. And here's Eric.
Where he transformed me from a failing internet.
That's fine. Eric today, his wife was very skeptical when he started with me because he had spent so much money in the industry, and we transformed him. So he talks about how he was able to sell $10,000 to $20,000 programs off a simple console, off a tool, an advisory-based tool that I just showed you. And if he can do it, you can do it. That's the great news. And what I want you to understand is he couldn't have done it without, first of all, seeing his advice as intellectual property and treating it like it. So principle number 4, ask the best questions in your industry and answer an even better question. So fix a moment or solve a destiny. This was the letter that I wrote that got myself out of my job. And I'm just showing you this letter. I wrote it in 2004. 6 months after my big breakthrough, our company was growing so quickly. I was losing money because I was a vice principal, and I had to go to work. And I had, we were turning into hundreds of clients a week that I was mentoring, and I was moving from 479, like I said, 1,000 to 2,000 to 2,400 to 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, all the way up, just because my time, I just couldn't fit them in, and they were willing. They understood the value proposition. So here's my letter of resignation to my superintendent of education at that time. Dear Gail Stuka, I wish to tender my resignation from the board effective 2004. I've appreciated the opportunity to work with the Lambton Kent District School Board for the last 14 years, 8 as a classroom teacher and 6 as a vice principal. So I want to challenge all of you this evening to write your resignation letter. What are you going to resign yourself from doing? And write it and sign it. Because if you don't do this, I guarantee you the old habits are going to creep back and you're not going to take the specific action steps. So here's what I want you to understand. The traditional business funnel looks like this. All the gurus, when I say all the gurus, like 99% of them all tell you to start with a low-end product, $27, then move through a funnel that goes to $49.99, $499. But the problem is the funnel's too long. There's a 50% return rate. There's a 70% loss at each level. You're never going to get the person to the next level. What does that mean? If you do the math, it means 100 people that buy your $27 product on the front end, only 15 are going to go to the next level. Only 3 people are going to go to the next level, and only 1 person is going to go to the final level. So if you do the math, and I'm not that great in math, so I use my calculator, i.e. my phone, and what did I come up with? The average value per client, all this work and effort to get these clients through this business funnel is giving you $28.81 per customer. Okay, there's no way. And this is the predominant way that's being taught by gurus in this industry still today. The problem, we call it the poor person's business funnel because it's going to keep you poor. You lose speed to market, you lose market share immediately, your market dwindles at each level, and you've got an incredibly small chance of making a sale. So here's a new way to profit. We call it the freedom business funnel. All right, you find a category in your niche that you know you can dominate. So we do a competitive analysis with all of our clients to figure out how we're going to leverage your advice from your school of hard knocks that you've learned, how we're going to message it, where we're going to place it, in which market to get the best multiple for it, and leverage it. So we start with, say, a $27,000 program, and then we create residual income from it. So my question to you is this. Do you want to compete with negative momentum? We call this the price commodity ladder. Okay? Do you want to position yourself there and on the lowest rungs of the price ladder where all the competition is? Or what if you could create a huge engulfing candle? Does everybody know what a huge engulfing candle is in trading? Okay, it's one of those massive green candles that just takes out all the red candles from the downturn and all of a sudden creates an explosion upwards on charting patterns for trading. Okay, what if we could do that, and instead of competing as on the commodity ladder or the price ladder, what if we just competed on the value ladder and position a high-end program or service where there's little to no competition? Why wouldn't you want to do that? It's super easy and way more strategic and a lot easier to get things done. Here's Joy Pecchia. We call Joy she's one of our clients. She's been a client of mine for years. And when she started, she was working for a large coaching organization. You would know their name if I told you them. She was an executive coach for them. And she was really scared to go off on her own. And she hired me as opposed to the company she was mentoring for. And today, she started with $20,000 programs. We helped build out her private white label program. And today, she's got income streams coming from corporate Fortune 5,000 companies. And she's attracting some of the highest end clients in her industry. And she mentors on her sailboat. So she's got a sailboat mentoring program. Okay, pretty cool. We'll see if our video plays now.
I'm up here in Minneapolis having conversations in the marketplace. I've already signed 2 people up for my program. You will learn a ton. And Glenn is right. It's all about speed to market. So take what you learn, bring it back to your marketplace, and get ready for a really incredible lifetime of your business working with Glenn.
So that's Joy. So, and a little bit of feedback there from my head. You're supposed to laugh. All right, yeah. See, there's some friction going on. The gears are chugging a little bit in here. Remember I said I'm working hard. You guys are working easy, right? I got the hard work here. So it's not the big that eats the small, but the fast that consume the slow. I want you to write that down. And I want you to etch that into your brain. It's not the big that eats the small anymore. It's the fast that consume the slow. So you got to be a fast fish in today's market. Okay, our 5th principle, use strategic own the market advisory tools. So this is really important. You want to leverage the advisory age. Okay, we don't live in the information age anymore. You want to be strategic, as Ted McGrath said earlier, one of my clients that came into the Canadian Lake Home there, he said, got to be strategic. And you've got to be deliberate practice in what you're going to focus on. So leverage the advisory age. If you don't want to sell, then you're going to want to understand how to educate to dominate. Because it's either play big or go home. That's what it is today, everybody. It's either compare yourself to others or have everybody compare themselves to you. That's really what it comes down to. The marketplace is that bifurcated. Okay? It's either compare yourself to others or have others compare themselves to you. So you want to use a process that thousands of my clients have used, this acceleration system, to track qualified leads. Remember we said not all leads are created equal. Accelerated conversion. And modeling is the solution to speed to market. Modeling is the number one way that we learn. So you want to use advisory-based tools. We call them ABTs, advisory-based tools to turn your advice into an arsenal of stealth weapons. All right? So we help our clients strategically engineer marketing, product creation, and the most powerful conversion system all in one. So the absolute most quickest, fastest, strategic way to package your product or advice in a way that closes deals quickly. So that's if you look at the traditional sales cycle for coaching programs or for any kind of program, I'll just mention coaching because we're all coaches here. We all guide others. Whether it's somebody within your family, whether it's a colleague, whether it's a friend, or whether it's a recommendation from somebody else, we're all mentoring and we're coaching other people. And if you take a look at the traditional model is what I draw as kind of a sine curve, right? Goes up and down, and you got all these steps here from awareness to consideration, purchase, service, loyalty. Our process, our system, we compress the sales cycle, and we focus on at combining awareness, consideration, purchase, service right at the front end, and I'm going to show you how we do that. And then we create loyal clients, and so do my clients for life. So we do that with a pretty cool system. If you look at the bottom below the dotted line, the traditional way that a company operates, or if you get a guru or some kind of consultant, they'll approach your business with a multi-tier funnel. You need to do some Facebook marketing, some LinkedIn, some Instagram, maybe some TikTok, right? And then we're going to do some functional marketing. Then we're going to do some marketing mix. Then we're going to do some market research and then strategy. And because they finally do the strategy because they realize what they're doing is just what everybody else is doing. And they're teaching what everybody else is doing, and nobody's getting the results that they want. So our sequence changes things around at the top. We start with IP market research. We fit you in the right marketplace, the right industry. We organize your advice. We add strategy. We use the Freedom Business Funnel. We flip that business funnel. And we use marketing systems, both B2B and B2C, with some of the tools that I've already showed you. And then we implement functional marketing. Decide, okay, do we need to do social media? Because some of my clients don't. And I'm going to show you why that is very shortly. So here's Dennis Eagle. Dennis has been a long-standing client, a long-standing friend. Dennis came to me. He was a minister. He got out of the ministry and got into an offline business that was very, very difficult for him to monetize. And he didn't have a pension. He came to me and said, Glenn, I get what you're doing. I got to monetize what I'm doing offline. Then I would like to do something online, and I would like to, position myself on that category of one with a really high-end program or service. So I work with Dennis. I helped him hire a salesperson. I mentored that company like I do today with many of our corporations. I mentor the key leadership teams for established companies, and I did that with Dennis, and we did that right from scratch. I want you to listen to him, what he says. At about the 30-second mark, something really cool happened to Dennis.
But first, let me just point out that it's been about a year now since I enrolled in your coaching program. And we've already established one company, a local company here, where you said the low-hanging fruit was easiest to get. So we established that. It's doing very well. And now we've been working on a marketing company. So we launched December 1st of last year. Within 2 weeks, we sold our first product, which amounted to about $50,000. And then we sold some other products since then. But the same company that sold us the $50,000 product has asked us now and has just closed the deal last week for another $1.24 million over the next 24 months. We're excited about that. And then yesterday, our sales rep, who has made those deals, was asked to go to New York City and present our domination program to their company. Well, that was received really extremely well with C-level and down. And so now they're asking us to look at 89 agencies they have, in addition to the one we already have, plus the 17 lines we have. So we're looking now at, in the next 24 months or so, about a $5 million deal.
You guys hear what he just said? $5 million. Dennis started from nothing. Nothing. He just used some of these simple tools that I'm showing you, and he started to create leverage from that. That is massive leverage. Starting out of the gate from Dennis, and within 6 months doing a deal like that, okay, from scratch. So here's the concept that I want you to understand. Never outsource your core competencies. Never. It's up to you to start self-reflecting on your life. And only you can do that. And start getting clear, where is my greatness? Where does my genius lie? Get really comfortable with journaling, everybody. Journaling is the fastest way to creating a breakthrough. It's the most kinesthetic way of activating that subconscious mind, like we were talking in our mastermind group this morning. Principle number 6, control the frame of reference. You've got to control the frame of reference. There are only 3 domains that you need to master in accelerated learning. Just 3. Everybody makes success so complicated. I'm not saying success is simple in business, but we can make success simplistic by using tools, models, and processes. So I want you to understand this. There's only 3 frameworks. The first is attitudinal domain. That is the frame. How do you want your potential clients to see their problem? How do you want your potential clients to see their problem? Next, knowledge equals information times experiences. What do you want them to see specifically? What do you want them to see specifically? So you've got to help your potential client see their problem and see your solution. They got to literally see it. And that's why I showed you that one tool, the strategic design model, that Les Brown and many others came running up and wanting to hire me out right away for that level of mentoring. And then third domain is skills. So knowledge equals information times experiences. Your target market wants your experiences. They don't want more information. And they want skills. Specifically, they want your ability to self-reflect times your knowledge. So here's the traditional business funnel. All right, we talked about it. You don't want to do that, right? We want to leverage the freedom business funnel. And so we're going to use that framework here. You're going to, with your advisory business, with your advice, you're going to package it, first of all, around the framework. You're going to control the frame of reference. You're going to compel your potential clients and show them how they should be seeing their problems. Next, you're going to teach them with some level of utility, helping them solve their problem and give them the right knowledge. All right, that comes out of your life experiences. And then you're going to focus on the S domain, the skills domain. You're going to provide assistance. We live in a service-based economy, so you want to leverage that. So the size of letter ASK indicates the importance of the learning domain. So you always want to start with A, then you want to move to K, and then you want to move to S. Always. Always control the frame of reference, then set it up so that you can provide some specific advice that has utility, that gets your potential candidate to do something, and then you want to position a service. So what does that look like? You're going to give away your A, education, okay, your framework. Then you're going to help them on how to consume your content with K, develop your system, and your service, and that's what you're going to sell is your service. So those are the 3 domains and how to position your advice in the market. So the size of the letter ASK indicates the importance of the learning domain. Start with A, then K, and then ASK. So this is going to provide you, number 1, authority and credibility in the market today. So here's our speed to market principle. He or she who self-reflects the greatest controls markets. Okay? The people that are literally writing things down and having, getting, really starting to analyze their assumptions that they're making incorrectly and really getting clear on that and understanding that you've got to be close to the source of momentum are going to win. Here's Sam Crowley, another one of our long-standing clients. Sam came to me struggling with a low-end program because he was positioned like everybody else. He launched himself around every day is Saturday. And the first month, he sold his first $100,000, made his first $100,000, and today he's got a solid following.
So what about the business side of it? Well, inside of our first 4 weeks, 1 month into the coaching program, we had grossed over $100,000. And that's neat. Right? Everybody wants to make a lot of money. But again, I think the benefit came with the result of the actual program that's making such a huge difference. And yeah, it was also great to have that influx of revenue coming into the company. So Glenn Dietzel, if you're out there, thank you so much.
All right, and that's Sam. So our next principle, number 7. If you hate selling, then you want to co-brand. Okay? This is so important in business, whether you're starting from scratch or whether you're already at some level in business. Co-branding is the fastest way into hundreds of new markets. And this is what I do today. And this is what most of my clients do, either right out of the gate or once we get them profitable with their business, they want to move into this model. So most of the gurus will tell you got to market to the masses on different platforms of social media and all this, that, and the other thing. I'm telling you right now, if you lead with strategically with the right kind of education, you can help immediately help your potential candidates self-select themselves into your program or service and position yourself not as a coach, not as an expert or an advisor, but position yourself above all the noise in the industry, above all the competition. And that's what my clients want to be able to do today. So here's my number one positioning strategy. If you're going to do this, you got to make your mark in your industry and you got to make it in a big way or go home. Secondly, the key to growing a massive world-class advisory-based coaching, consulting, training company is to become part of the business that needs to be in place. So you want to leverage your intellectual property. So you can move that into multiple areas and get paid, through all kinds of income streams coming in. So my best strategy for you is to justify your existence, paint an innovative, bright future, have a better way to digest content than anybody in your industry, co-brand instead of selling. So you want to focus on creating scalable IP and systems that'll create recurring monthly income and attractive asset. One of our clients started with this. He came out of corporate world. Winton was really scared about starting. He was struggling selling a $297 program. We gave him the tools. He implemented exactly. In 12 hours, he was able to sell, I think, a $6,000 program is where he wanted to start at. Here's Winton. Today he runs his company out of Huatuco, Mexico, and he is now runs the Barefoot Brain. It's a consulting company. It teaches people how to freelance and grow and scale, and uses all our tools. We co-brand right into Winton's company. So here's Winton.
Hi, this is Winton Churchill with the Barefoot Consultants. And Glenn, I want to thank you for your advice in your Omega Mind program. I was frankly a little skeptical when you talked about doing high-end mastermind programs, and I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to take the materials you gave us and some of the coaching, and in about 12 and a half hours fully subscribe a 6-member program at $12,000 a person. So over the holidays, I did it step by step, was not certain that it was going to work, but just followed the process, and I was delighted in January to have sold out my program. So thank you very much. Take care.
So here's what we walked Winton through. Did you already said it was step by step? You got to walk your potential clients step by step. Our processes and systems are step by step, so clients can get the kind of results that they're after. Our company has been recognized, as I mentioned, through strategic alliances with Tony Robbins, with Richard Branson. Richard Branson's company, Virgin, invited me to a private mastermind. And that's the kind of lifestyle that I have today. I get a chance to speak at cool masterminds with people that can really appreciate what I can do in the market because they know what's not working. So I'm trying to give you eyes today to see how you should be careful and how you could operate just through some strategic changes in your life, canceling out the cancel culture, right? Canceling some of the culture that you have in your own life, canceling it, and moving into another realm of how you're going to execute. So with our coaching and co-branding program, step number 1, we help all of our clients create leverage profits like Winton. We can help them develop their competitive intelligence, speed to market, create their first profitable transaction, increase the size and number of transactions. We focus on 5 core areas of business. We give them all the tools and the systems and processes to do this really quickly. You heard Winton, I think he said it was 12 and a half hours. And then we build off that freedom business funnel, the inverted business funnel, and we move into step 2. We help then our clients build the right systems so they can create train-the-trainer certification programs and really be able to leverage their intellectual property, their advice across hundreds of new channels, new industries. And the cool thing is you don't have to worry about doing all that social media stuff and all that stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but a lot of my clients don't want to do it because they don't have the time. They don't have the wherewithal. And there's so much garbage in that industry. They don't want to be subject to it. So you want to have 7 key systems to grow and scale, a better business model. That's why companies come to us. Client vetting process. You want to have a client intake system. You want to have client service process. You want to have a client management system. You want to have strategic vendors. And you definitely want to leverage accelerated training and learning systems in your company. So we give our clients those. They iterate from them. That's why our clients pay us $100K or more. And we literally give them our intellectual property. They iterate from it, and that becomes their intellectual property. Okay, and that's why I've been pulling out of the online space out of the last 8 years, and just been very careful on how I execute, because clients invest a lot of money to work with us. And then, so it's a step-by-step train the trainer certification process. It shows our clients how to be number one in their market, how to sell certification programs for $15,000 to $20,000. Shows you how to teach, train your own coaches, trainers, and clients. Shows you how to build the ultimate authority and credibility that your competitors don't have. And shows you how to create 2 types of royalty payments. So then the third step is we still build on this freedom business funnel. All right? So step 3 then is to get in where the real fun is. So our goal is always cash flowing. Step 1, you've got to create that first profitable transaction, and you got to grow and scale it. And this is the best model. So here what we do is we leverage certification co-branding. Our clients organize $15,000 to $25,000 certification programs, and this is the foundation for creating your own multi-million-dollar training empire. Once you have this, now you got time freedom. Now you can do whatever it is that you want to do. You can do a podcast if you want. If that's really what you want to do, you can kind of do what I'm doing. Leverage your intellectual property inside of other companies. Scalable with Ryan. Evolved Enterprise with Yonic. Okay, and many of my clients, one-on-one clients. Achieve maximum valuation and cash flow. So why have a certification program? Well, everybody has a book today, it seems. So why would you do what everybody else is doing? Stand apart. Create a certification program. You create the apex asset in your industry. Profits lie deep. They're not on the surface. I showed you that. I did the math with you. You got to get your potential client to go deep with you immediately, as fast as you possibly can. Next, scale the financial power of your advice and the gateway. It's a gateway to the total position in your industry. You truly, it's like owning the Brooklyn Bridge, right? Not only if you own the bridge, you have the asset, but you create, you get all the money for all the cars that cross that bridge every day. So you want to have that position in your market. You create the rules, and you get to deal the rules. So you really create home court advantage. You create the house advantage if we're talking Vegas. So what are the benefits of coaching and co-branding? It's a huge positioning strategy for you if you do it right. Leverage an entrepreneurial certification process. It's one of the best ways to protect yourself from competition. It's the fastest way into hundreds of new markets. You get to ride a tsunami-sized trend, and it's a perfect way to organize your advice into premium price programs. Okay? So again, we use the accelerated learning model, create the rules. You then deal the rules. You make smart money through certification, train the trainer, you train others in your process, your systems, and you make intelligent money through private white label, through co-branding, or 14 different licensing models that we teach our clients, and we select the best one for them. So 2 types of royalties then that you can create for your intellectual property. Most of our clients are super fast. They think, Glenn, I could never create a certification program. Okay, how do I do it? So we start with the 1 module fast track certification process, and we just take them through that. So I didn't mean for you to write that, but we just do that. It takes, as long as you have like 2-3 hours a week, we can set that up in a few weeks. And now you've got positioning over every author, over anybody in your industry that's got a book. Because almost everybody in your industry doesn't have a certification program and no way to leverage their intellectual property long-term like you will. So platforms create leverage. So you've got to create a platform. It's as simple as that. You can become a super spreader influencer, if you don't mind me saying that, online, because he's an influencer. An influencer just is a super spreader of bad advice, right? Like, look at me, look at my lifestyle, all that. I'm tired of that industry. That industry is horrible. My wife has seen that industry. I used to speak with those kinds of people on stage, and it was just a bunch of people selling, look at me, you can be me, kind of thing. And that doesn't help anybody. It just gets that person wealthy. That's all it does. What you need to do is create a proper platform for your advice. Create your own or plug into an existing platform to leverage the power of strategic alliances. He or she who has the platform holds the keys to the vault. And be the first in your market to use a business acceleration system to create partnerships, royalties, and leverage profits. Again, you don't have to be an expert. So I want you to write this down. Greater sameness won't get you better results. If you're doing what everybody else is doing in your industry, I guarantee you're going to lose to the law of relevancy. People are going to see you like somebody else. They're not going to go with you. You're anchored to somebody incorrectly. So you don't want to do what everybody else is doing. You've got to be different. Here's an example of how I use my intellectual property today. We had this done. This is my branding inside of this. I branded this with somebody else who uses my intellectual property, one of my partners. And so I want you to see this right now. This is all my intellectual property.
Together, let's raise the standard. Let's take it to a whole nother level and do that for the rest of our lives. Because that's my purpose. That's my mission. And I will do that no matter what. And as long as we focus on contribution, not acquisition, we will make the change and we'll make the impact in the world.
You see, in today's market, your ideal candidates expect to get your best and then they're gone. So why would you not give your ideal candidates your best right at the front? Why wouldn't you focus on educating your potential candidates in a way that your competitors aren't doing?
I was really inspired by his talk back in LA.
They have a business model that focuses on quality, not about the price. It's not money driven, it's quality driven.
Very good information, especially if you're considering trying to monetize your knowledge and start a consulting or coaching business.
Or your programs and services are going to see you as somebody else, not you. We don't want that to happen.
All the speakers out there around the world, treat others how you wish to be treated. Many mastermind owners and organizers, oh, you are crazy. Why I would do that? I'll hurt my business. Like, no, because now you're helping everyone.
Okay. So the question is, will you be our next success story? That's the question. You want to do it. How many people are interested in what it looks like to work with Glenn Dietzel? Anybody here? All right. Are you guys okay if I spend 10 minutes at the most? 10. You guys okay with that? Now, I created slides because I could just talk. And my clients come to me because they want systems, they want models, they want processes. And so what I thought today is, what I would do, and I didn't say this earlier, but if you're somebody that really wants to step up, normally, if you're going to hire me, it's $100K. That's what we start with. But would I be willing to do for a couple of people, $50K? Okay? Just for a couple, 2 people. If you're interested at that level, there would be full-out commitment. It's working with me. Everything that we create, the intellectual property belongs to you. I will help you close your first 3 high-end deals. My goal is to help you get profitable, okay? So there's no fluff. There's no games. I'm tough, okay? I'm also a family guy. Got a beautiful wife. I got great kids. But I'm tough with my clients because I expect their best. I don't expect you to do anything that I wouldn't do. But I'm not here to position that or even talk about that. If you're interested, we can have a discussion around that. I want to give all of you an easy way to work with me. Those that are really ready to step up. Okay? Super easy. If you're going to hire me for 4 hours, I could show you contract after contract after contract. It's $15,000 for 4 hours of consulting time with me. Okay? And we rip your body, and we rip your company, your positioning, what you're doing, we rip it apart, and we re-engineer everything on the fly. A full day with me is $25,000, and clients willingly come in all over the world, and I rebuild their platform, their positioning around their presentation. I believe you can build a great company from a great presentation. So what I thought for next steps for you, and if there's 2 people here, you want to talk to me, that's all the time I will have because of my busy schedule. It's high touch. You'll have access to me by email, texting, before you speak, or you've got that big deal, you got to close. I get on a phone with you. I can become part of your company to help you do that. You own all the intellectual property that we create, okay? So that's that. But for just, for the working with me directly, instead of going through this big game of all the social media that you got to play, that all the experts tell you, you got to spend all this money. They're not going to tell you that, all this effort. What you want to do is be really strategic and position your advice. And if you could do it really strategically with some of the tools that I already showed you, and we've got hundreds of processes and systems, macro and micro. And what it's going to do is not just, you're not going to just be a coach, an expert, or an advisor, because everybody is today. Everybody and their cat and their dog, right? What you want to do is you want to position yourself above all the noise. You got to stand apart from all, as we said in our mastermind group today, the white noise in the industry, and there's lots of it. If you really think about it, 99.99% of the information that's coming at you, and probably a few more decimal places, is irrelevant in today's market. Whatever you want to get good at in your life, you're going to have to get good at what not to do. You're going to have to learn how to do that. How do you do that? That's why I took you through some of the exercises today to step out of your paradigm, your framework, and get an understanding of how to execute differently. So I want to help you, because that's my passion. It's not that you have one more day, it's that you have one less day. I shared that in our mastermind group today too. We have about 400 of these speed to market principles, but these are some of the really passionate. When I turned 50 6 years ago, I said, you know what? I could quit and I could just do whatever, but that's just not in me. I am a teacher. That's what I am. I'm a teacher by passion and training. Today, I just get a chance to work with the kinds of clients that really want to be in Glenn Dietzel's classroom, right? When I was a teacher, I loved it, and I loved using my students. I had great students, and I could tell you all the awards that they won because I raised the bar on their performance. And if you're ready to raise the bar on your performance and step up, if you're willing for the kind of critique that only an honest person will give you, and not just say, oh, I'm scared to offend you, but say, look, you know what? The agreement is this. Do you give me permission to, treat you just as if you're a 100K client? Yes, Glenn, I do. And this is the kind of conversation we're going to have for you to be able to step up. So my bigger reason is, as I said, I'm a teacher by reason. My reason was to assist people to raise the bar on themselves. That's why I got in education. As your mentor, my bigger reason is to assist you in creating the life you deserve and to identify folks I can partner with, like Carlos and like many of the other strategic alliance partners that I work with today. All right? And it's a great lifestyle, let me tell you that. So the key principle that I want to leave you with is modeling is the number one way that you learn. You've got to get close to the source of momentum. Most of us play at arm's distance. We read a book, we download a course, we fly here and think, okay, this is going to bring us success, but we never create home court advantage for ourselves. And everybody knows what home court advantage is, right? Do the Flyers win at the Spectrum? The Spectrum more than they do when they're on the road, or do they win more when they're at home? I grew up in the days of the Spectrum. I grew up a Broad Street Bullies fan. Bobby Clark, Reggie Leach. We used to play when I was a kid. We used to play Rick McLeish hockey. Dave Schultz hockey on the playground. So body checking, slam. Nobody cared about it back then. None of the teachers. So it was a lot of fun. Modeling is the number one way that we learn. So one of our clients, look at how young Nathan was. Nate used our systems and processes. He wanted to become a business mentor, coach. He used our same processes and systems. I co-branded them into him. He was able to do over $21 million in transactions in his first 40 days working with me. Here's Nate.
I wanted to let you know that just in the last 35, 40 days now, I believe it is, I've been able to walk a group of less than 12 clients through this process and create over $21 million in transactions for them. So this is a diverse group of companies and different industries. So this isn't a matter of fact of will this work for you today. What it's a matter of fact is, will you put this information to work? So your next steps are to make sure that you follow Glenn's directions as specifically as possible, because the clearer and more concise you get about your next steps, and the more you're able to listen to what Glenn has to say right now and then follow the steps, the quicker you'll succeed.
All right, and that's what Nate has to say. So for a massive breakthrough, all entrepreneurs need assistance with focus and execution with the right business models. Anybody know who that is? Tom Izzo? MSU? Any MSU fans? Michigan State? That's Tom Izzo, right? He's known as a tough coach, not like the Bobby Knight days with Isaiah Thomas and throwing winging chairs and stuff like that. The other Isaiah Thomas, the original Isaiah Thomas, not the second one. So he or she who's got the strongest focus wins. That's what it comes down to. All your decisions are just constrained by your level of focus. So if you want to focus, I'm going to provide you an opportunity for us to work together in a much lower investment point. You don't have to invest $15,000 for 4 hours of consulting time with me. But the question you want to ask yourself is, how much is it costing you to do things backwards? You see, so many people have come to me, they've tried to follow me, they've tried to follow what I'm doing, they try to follow other gurus and experts, but they're doing everything backwards. In other words, trying to copy someone else's strategy, business model, their marketing, or their website without knowing the original formula that built it just doesn't work. You can't reverse engineer this. So exponential growth begins with this. Having an optimized presentation is like having a call option on the advisory age. Everybody know what a call option is? I hope you do. Okay, and that's where I'm going to give you the asset that's going to help you create a call option as a strategic advisor from your life experiences. So this is what our speed to lead private mentoring looks like. Exponentially increase the financial power of your advice. Easily add 1 0, 2 zeros, or 3 zeros to your bottom line. Design or re-engineer a consultative process on the fly to compress the sales cycle and attract premium price clients. Use the power of consultative speaking as the perfect platform to create the perfect launch pad for positioning your company at the forefront of your industry. So here's what it looks like. So to work with me one-on-one is $100K. You get access to our group mentoring program, which is $6,000 a month. So what I'm willing to do is this. I believe that all of you can build a great company from a great presentation. You need the one communication style that closes deals quickly, and that's having a great presentation. You don't have to be a great speaker. Look at me. I'm not a great speaker. You just have to know the syntax of how to create a consultative process. And that's what I'm going to show you. The one communication style that closes deals quickly. Re-engineer or build your presentation from scratch using the perfect message to market formula. Flip the business funnel, compress the sales cycle, increase your conversion rates by magnitude. You can use this system to exponentially increase the value from live stages. If there's anybody here that wants to get on more live stages, I'll show you our process. Well, that's what we do in our private mentoring. But this will allow you to become more effective when you're speaking from the stage or virtual stages, webinars, Zoom, whatever it is that your flavor of the month, if you will, for doing virtual. The perfect launch pad for premium price services, perfect for boutique intensives, retreats, private, inner circle, mentoring, masterminds, and much more. You can build a great company from a great presentation. Finally, an optimized system to create and value and message what it is that you do. Over 16,000 hours working from over 120 industries over the last 19 plus years. That's what I've been doing to create this optimized conversion process. All of our one-on-one clients all start with this. Now, some of them we start in other areas, right? If I'm doing consulting for a company, we're looking at their intellectual property, their sales, their profits, streamlining everything. But invariably, I want to see every company's presentation. Our goal is to use the expert advisor sales cycle to help you sell more of what it is that you want to be selling, currently selling, or as we analyze your intellectual property, your life experiences, maybe you should really be doing this with your company, or if you're getting into business for the first time. So we're going to use our formula for growing and scaling coaching companies domestically and internationally. We're going to use the top, the awakened sequence. We're not going to use the sea of sameness. And you're going to get instant access to your entire training program, publish your consultative process using our proprietary algorithm and template to compress the sales cycle, upscale your value. And we're also going to give you our 7-figure word patterns to create an audience buying frenzy. So I'm going to help you script out your consultative process. So you can sell whatever you want to sell whenever you want to sell. So you're going to have private membership. It's our private membership dossier to optimize your speaking, including your sales scripts, your quickest path to success with your system, and I'm going to give you 2 private calls with me. So instead of spending $15,000 for 4 hours, you're going to get 2 private calls with me. The value would be half the 15, which is $7,500. By the way, I don't sell this, okay? I'm just doing this, all right? This is something I'm doing for you and for Larry and for investor schooling. So the speed to lead private mentoring, scale your operational value, add massive alpha to your presentations. We all like alpha, right? Best asymmetric return opportunities to re-engineer your consultative process, and best of all, receive customized mentoring from Glenn Dietzel. So this is what it looks like. Own the market, consultative process, publishing training. It's $6,000 for our group mentoring. You can only get that, though, through private mentoring. So I will give you that. 7-figure word patterns to create a buying frenzy. You'll get access to that. A license fee of our consultative process. The fee is waived. We do sell that. It's $1,500 to have access to those templates. We will waive that fee, you will have it. Everything we create off that will belong to you. Our speed to lead, private mentoring, 2 calls with me, $7,500. Total value, $15,000. And since I want you to succeed, it's $995. Okay, so no investment of $1,500, just $995, and you'll have access to all of that. And what I'm also willing to do for you today is get that. And for 15 people, here's what I'm also willing to do. You'll get our access to our design and assessment tool to create trusted advisory status. I will show you our training. I will give you licenses, free licenses to iterate from that. I believe the fastest way of really maximizing your value is to create an assessment tool. So I'll use my background in education to help you with that. We'll give you some models and some training around that. Instantly create a high impact product that provides you the #1 positioning in your market. A key inflection asset to add rocket fuel to your company's consultative process. Real world value is $6,000. How to design an assessment tool to create a trusted advisory status. You'll get a free license. To that, real world value, I don't know because we don't sell that. Okay, we just provide it to our one-on-one clients. So I just put that as priceless. Also, save time and unnecessary costly fees. Instead of putting together 60, 80-page proposals like a lot of our clients who come out of corporate world do, we're going to show you how to write an executive summary for your program or service and tie that into your 10-step consultative process. So we'll walk you through it so you know how to consult with people, just like you saw my clients have done in different stages. They give you different aspects of what they've been doing with some of the tools, and we'll give you that. And imagine opening rates approximating 100%. We're also going to give you access to our target partner attraction system to gain key strategic partners who will want to partner with you and open up new markets for your advice. You're only one key conversation from opening up a flood of new business. So we're going to give you private access to this. You're going to have access to all my scripts. So I'm going to give you these scripts. Our breakthrough private letter this gives us almost 100% open rates. Breakthrough private video formula for reaching out to others. How to connect with high flyers in your industry, and how to ask for an email introduction. So I'm going to give you all the scripts, and you can use those in your company. The skills of making a business and teaching others are separate, as we said. So you get all of that, those programs, for $15,000 for a total of $995. And here's Michelle Yazzo Drake and many others.
Glenn Dietzel has completely delivered.
Okay, and so that's the great Michelle. I completely delivered, okay? The question we want to then go back to is, are you going to fix a moment or are you going to solve a destiny? That's the question that you want to ask yourself. So I want to leave you with this. Just like I did, it was one of the biggest steps that I had to do. It was back in 2004, our company was growing so fast, and I was balancing time. I was basically kissing my kids goodnight at 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock, and kissing my wife goodnight and going and working and fulfilling on all my clients. It just, our company was growing so quickly. I'd spent 14 years in education. And the moment that I had to think about this was, are you really ready to step out and step on your own? I had 14 years of conditioning by an educational system that was really holding me hostage to my value. So what I did is I wrote my letter of resignation and I gave it to my superintendent. And I want to challenge all of you to write your letter of resignation. Sign it, date it. If you want to share it with me, I'd love to see it. Who are you going to resign from? What are you going to resign from? But more importantly, who and what are you going to resign to and design towards? You want to resign from, and you want to design something new. Okay? You can't just design something without resigning. And you want to just resign without designing.
I'm glad.
So I want to challenge all of you to go for it.
I have to tell you, I saw this guy speak, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I don't know how, but I just watched Investor Schooling's business model on the screen. So remember that the stuff that you hear today will stick with you. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next year. But my suggestion, if you have any inclination of going to a coaching program or something that you feel you can help others, I would talk to Glenn. All right, why don't you go sit down? You're the man. take a 10-minute break. I suggest you guys stick around because we're going to have a panel, right? We're going to have a panel. All these guys are going to come up. We're going to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, discuss whatever it is you want us to discuss. I promise you the panels are usually where you get a lot of information. So we'll see you guys back in 10 minutes. Awesome.